Okay, just waiting to see if anybody comes on here. Right now, it's just me, and that's okay. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes. If you're joining us on the recording, you could fast forward through for a minute or two, since I'm just waiting right now. I'm going to get some stuff set up. Okay, I'm all set. We'll get started here. Um, I don't have any students, but that's okay. So I'll start out with just kind of talking about these live lectures. We as faculty have to do them once a week for you guys, and it is beneficial, but you don't have to be here at the time that I do it. I'll post the time always. I suggest coming to them, number one, if you can, and really number two, if you have any particular questions or need some explanation for something that's not on there and that maybe I can't answer over email. Like if you email me a question, I might say, "Hey, join the live lecture and ask that so that we could talk in person." If you can't make the time of the live lecture, I'm also happy to set up a Zoom with you so that you can do that as well, and we could clear up any issues that you might have. Um, Email's great on Canvas so far. It goes right to my phone and right to my email, so I'm able to respond to everyone quickly. That's been going well, and I'm happy answering emailed questions. I'm just saying, if there's something more detailed that we need to talk about, we could do it in the live lecture, or we can do it face to face with a Zoom appointment. And since it's summer, I am teaching, and I think I mentioned this in one of my announcements. I'm teaching two classes, your class, which is online, and then I have a Com 3590, a business com class twice a week on campus on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if I'm a little slow responding on Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's why. I'm in class, it's like 4 hours a day. It's pretty rough. So that's Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then a lot of times on the weekends I do my best to respond, but weekends I have family, and a lot of times we're out. My kids play soccer and some things like that. So, but I do respond as quickly as I can. One thing I always tell my students in all classes, whether it's online or in person, please don't feel like you're bothering me by emailing. And let's say you emailed me on a Tuesday and it's Wednesday later in the day, and I didn't get back to you. Don't worry. So, oh, welcome. I see we have somebody. How you doing? Hopefully you're doing I hope you're doing well. I was just kind of talking to no one, but you jumped in, so it's good to have you. But anyway, I was just saying that these live lectures I record, so if you can't make the time, it's not a big deal. It's good to make it if you want. That way you could ask questions. And I was just telling everyone that really these are good to come to if you do have a question or need some clarification on something that you feel like can't be done over email. So that's that. I'm gonna also I should introduce myself to you guys. I think I might have in um on the course somewhere, but I'll tell you too. My name's Professor Kobenschlag. I go by Professor K because it's a lot easier for people to say. I've been teaching at Kean for like 11 years now, full time. I teach a lot of public speaking classes, some public relations classes, some writing classes. So I do a little bit of everything. I do enjoy this class. We usually have a lot of freshmen, people just getting used to Kane in college, and I like hearing about your experiences and things like that. Um, I Let me think. So I worked in public relations for a bunch of years. I was a journalist for a bunch of years. Then I got into teaching. I have a wife. I have two kids. My son's 11, my daughter's 7. My dog is 3. Consider the dog part of the family, um, because she really is. And trying to think anything else about me. I just got back. I played ice hockey my whole life. I had a back injury about 5 years ago, and I've been rehabbing it and going to physical therapy. And I just started back up ice hockey. I was doing practices like the last month. I played my first real game in the men's league on Wednesday night, and it went pretty well. So I'm happy about that. So anyway, enough about me. I'm gonna read. I haven't gotten a chance to read yet your introductions on the discussions, but I will. I did read the graded ones and responded to a bunch just because that one I feel like is more important since it's graded. Um, and with the discussion questions, so I did have a lot of questions about this over email, and I do, a lot of what I'm talking about today, just to let you guys know. Um, is going to be kind of the basics. I want to go through what you have to do. I want to show you Canvas a little bit. And then I will talk about like some of the basis of communication from the first chapter and what we're talking about now. But it's more of an informative session to make sure everybody understands what you have to do for the class, when things are due, and that kind of thing. So anyway, the discussion posts, I want you guys really to be ready. They're usually due. The initial one is due pretty fast each week. And uh, unfortunately, another thing I want to let you guys know, I can't like reopen stuff. So let's say that you forgot to do something in the unit. Once the unit closes out, it's closed out by Kane Online. So Kane Online runs behind the scenes of the class. They open up each unit up, they open the assignments up at a certain time, and they close them out at a certain time. So that's why it's really important that you get things done by the due date, because that's beyond my control. It'll be closed out, it'll automatically give you a grade. So all I'm doing is really facilitating it, doing these lectures, answering your questions, and grading your stuff. But it has to be turned in for me to grade it. So unfortunately, we can't take late assignments. So everything you do has to be done by those deadlines that they set. So I want to share my screen with you. And some of you might know this, and you could fast forward through if you do, it's not a problem. But I just want to go through Canvas with you, um, and show you the basics. I think, is it Ruxar? I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Or is that your last name?
Yeah, and it's my first name.
Okay, did I say it right?
Yeah, you said it right. Yeah.
Ruxar?
Yes.
Okay, great. Nice to meet you. Thank
Nice
you
to.
for being the only one here. I am actually going to give you extra credit
Oh,
because you're
thank
here.
you.
You're
Thank.
welcome. And I'm sorry. I hope I don't bore you. I'm doing my
Yeah,
best.
no,
Tell
it's
me,
fine.
like, flag me down and say you're being boring if I'm boring you.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
It's totally fine.
All right. Awesome. So, with Canvas, and I'm learning it too. I got so good at Blackboard, and then they switched us over to Canvas. I'm liking it, but sometimes I got some questions from you guys, and I had to ask somebody else just because I'm learning it. So, if you guys don't mind being patient with me, I will get the answers. A lot of stuff I can figure out. But Ruxar, can you see my screen right now?
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you. Okay, great. So if you guys look at this, so kind of just go in, to the home screen of Canvas. And again, a lot of this is basic. The home screen has recent announcements, which I think you guys are getting over email too. I know I posted a lot the first week, and it's just because I know that you're probably all getting used to this as well. So whenever I find something out or something's going on, I will send an announcement, so you could just go to this homepage or check your email, and you could find whatever is important there. And then if you look right along the side here to the left, you could see all the different things that you can get to. So if you want to go back to the announcements that I posted, you can go here. If you haven't read all those yet, please do so. I just gave some hints and some due dates. This one's key. Modules is where your work is. Okay. So you'll see at the top, I don't know if you see instructor resources. You probably don't. So this is just stuff for me, but you're going to see course essentials. Now, I know you probably jumped to unit 1 and started doing a lot of this work, but please make sure you don't skip this part. Okay. This part is really, it's very important for you guys to read and understand everything. And a lot of the questions I'm getting are in this section. I don't mind answering them for you guys, but eventually I'm hoping that you kind of know it and you read these and you get to know. So like if you go to Kane Online 101, it tells you, let's see, I'm kind of figuring this out too. So here it kind of tells you, so you want to go through this. It's kind of just tells you everything. Well, that kind of goes back. So maybe that doesn't have as much as I thought in the 101. I thought there were some details in there. It's just telling you where everything is, but which I'm doing. Oh, there's a video. That's what it is. But that's only 52 seconds. So, all right, maybe we don't need that part. All right, we don't need that. So if I go back here again to my courses and I'm going to speech comms critical citizenship, I'm back to my regular page. So I'm going to go back again to modules and course essentials again. So this is where, like, let's go to due dates because this is an important one. Okay. So just so you guys know, and I'll try to send announcements as much as I can, so that you kind of know when things are due. But we are summer online first half term. Okay. So we started 5/22 4 days ago and we go to 7/16. So we want to just find us on here. Spring break, summer. We're a little bit further down here. Maybe all the way down. Okay, so summer online first half term. This is what we are. Okay, so if you look here, you get to see, and you might want to print this part out or just mark some notes or put it on your calendar because it's got everything that's due for the semester. Okay, so as you see, and I think a lot of you did a good job getting that initial discussion post in, which was just on the second day. So that was pretty fast. For this unit, since it's the first one, I am not going to take any late penalties off for that first post. So if you haven't done it yet, please just get it done by the end of the unit, which is the 28th. So what's that? Monday? 27th is Saturday, Sunday. So by Sunday night at midnight, you want to have everything in unit 1 done, especially the discussion posts. Okay. You should also be replying. So once you post your discussion, wait a day or two till everybody posts theirs, and then you want to be making replies to your fellow classmates discussion posts. So that's part of your grade as well. I think that we need to see about 3 replies, to try not to just make them a sentence where you say good post, I agree. Try to go a little bit more in depth. That's what we're looking for on the discussion posts. So if we look here at unit 2, just to kind of show you, when that'll be when late penalties actually get affected. So your unit 2 post will be the second day of unit 2, the initial post, and you see if it's not there yet, you get some penalties. The reason why it's important to get that on time is so your classmates can be can be replying to them. Okay. So again, no late content after those units close. So make sure that you're keeping on top of these due dates. So that's an important one. Like I said, when I went to modules and course essentials, your Kane Online student handbook is going to also give you a bunch. This is kind of long, so you might want to scroll through it a little bit. Like you could go to the table of contents and see. It'll tell you the due dates. It'll tell you how many discussions you have to do, everything like that. So I recommend, if you haven't done so, please read through this and understand it and take notes so that you know what you have to do. Okay. Because it's going to tell you everything that's expected of you. And it also talks about like your attendance, logging in, that kind of thing. So things you should do every day. So I'll just quickly read that, right? So log into the website. Look, I don't think you have to. I'm not making you do it every day. If you're not logging in on the weekend because you're done, that's fine with me. Just make sure you're logging in the majority of the days and doing some work. Split it up. Don't wait till the last minute. Do a little each day. That's what I'm doing so far. When I read the discussions and everything, I try to spend about an hour each day on here myself. It might be more for you because if you're doing the work. Check for new assignments. So I'm sorry, announcements and assignments, I should say. But I think you get your announcements on your email as well. But always check for any announcements I make as far as what's due in that class. Access your class and check modules to see what you have to do. So I'll show you that in a second. Check your email, spend time reading and reviewing course content. So, for example, right now, if you've already done the chapters in the unit where you read them and you do the connect work and you did your discussion, but you didn't yet read this handbook, spend one day reading the handbook, when you're on, and that'll show you've been on for half hour, 45 minutes. So, break up your work, do that kind of thing, read all instructions and ask questions of me. That's absolutely fine. Once a week, it says look at your schedule for the upcoming week, plan your week for fitting in all the weekly requirements. So look, if some of you have to work, if you have another class a couple days a week, just write yourself a plan for, like, okay, on Monday or Tuesday, I'm going to do the discussion. On Thursday, I'm going to reply to people's discussions. On Friday, I'm going to make sure I get my major assignment done. That's just an example. You guys have to do it around your schedule. Don't do it all in one day because you do have to be logging on. So split that stuff up. It's going to help you do better at this. So plan your week, okay? Fit everything in, plan ahead. It'll help a lot. Check your grade book. Does your grade look right? Check the feedback I provide. Mistakes can happen, everyone. I'm not going to pretend it never happens, especially now, Canvas being a little bit new to it. Keep on top of your stuff, just make sure if you did the discussions or you did the connect and for some reason you didn't see the points, email me. We could figure it out. And sometimes I think one or two people already have, because we did have an issue with connect. I believe it's fixed now. And if it's not, you guys can let me know and I'll tell them to do it again. It looks
It's
okay on
fixed.
mine. It is fixed?
Yeah, it's fixed now.
Okay, excellent. So for anybody for this unit, if you did the connect work and you see you didn't get a grade, just email me, because there were a few days there where Connect had the wrong due date. It was an issue on Connect's end, and we emailed them as quickly as we could and got it fixed as quickly as we could. So if you did it and it was saying it was late, that's why. So if it gave you that message, a few people emailed me screenshots of their work. I'll definitely give you the credit for that. But just when the grades go in for unit one, if for some reason you were given a 0 on your connect work, but you did do it, email me and I'll make sure to give you the credit. Okay. Don't freak out. I'm very happy to just fix it for you. I'm not going to be strict on that, especially when we had an issue the first couple of days. So yeah, just look, that's one thing, but always each week, look at your grades, make sure you got credit for what you were supposed to do. And it's not just, sometimes it's not a mistake on my end. Sometimes maybe for some reason it was turned in wrong. Or when we get to speeches, which I'll talk about in a minute, sometimes they take longer to upload. So sometimes students don't know that it didn't upload all the way. So always just make sure, that things that you have things graded, you want to make sure you don't have zeros for things that you believe you did. And again, if that happens, don't panic. Contact me. We can do a face-to-face meeting or just explain it and I can give you the points. Okay. So I want this to be as, I don't know what word I'm looking for. I wanted to say, I should say, as least stressful as possible for all of you and for me. So that's the goal. You get through, you learn, you get a summer class done, and nobody's having panic attacks, including your professor. So we're all going to work together on that. Make sure you submitted all your work for the week. Do you have projects or exams coming up? Save things for backup. All right, so this is good to read, and I just went through a few things, really what, like, things that you need to remember, but really please read all of this. It's a very good resource for you to understand what you have to do and what is expected. It would take me way too much time to go through all of it. So I'm just going to ask you guys that you read it, please. So it mentioned on there the assignments, okay? So, well, and then the other course, please read through the other course essentials. I talked about due dates, content reminders. This is ask the instructor, public forum. I'd prefer you email me. I haven't figured out yet where this goes. It might get posted, but I think it's better just to email right now. And then that your syllabus is on here as well. Um, I'm not going to go through everything on the syllabus. I'll let you read it. I am going to talk about some of the assignments we have and what you have to do. So unit 1 is what you guys are working on now, and hopefully you're on track with it. You're understanding it. It is due again Sunday night. Um, the one thing I want to point out first, and I noticed I didn't notice a lot of people doing this one yet, but and I understand that because you're doing it in order. But this essay is probably going to take quite a bit of your time. It's really the main assignment in Unit 1. So I'm going to click on it now and explain it to you so that everybody kind of understands it. So this assignment has to deal with perception. So a lot of what we're talking about early on in the class and what the readings are talking about is first impressions and how we perceive people. And to kind of give you an idea of this, I want you to think about your first day of classes. Um, well, I'm thinking of in person. If you're a totally online student, I'll try to think of another example for you. But think of your first day. If you've done classes in person, even think back to high school. Those of you that are online, think back to high school or when you went something camp, something like that. Okay, so I'm going to use the example of in class. Your first day of classes, maybe at college, maybe at high school, wherever it is. Um, you go into class and you don't know anybody. Maybe you know one person, but what do we do when we're among a group of people that we don't know? We form perceptions of them. We form first impressions, right? What do we think about them? How do we feel about them? What type of person do we think they are? And it's pretty interesting to like figure out, why do we have those perceptions of people? Is it how they're sitting? Like if they're slouched down like this, are you thinking, well, they don't want to be there, they're not a hard worker, they have their head down on their desk? Are you thinking, oh, they might have drank too much the night before, or maybe they're really tired, or they are really bored with the professor? I don't know what it is. If you see people maybe in the front row sitting up high and their books open ready to learn, maybe you think, oh, that person's smart, they're really all about this. These perceptions can be wrong. First impressions can be wrong. They often are. We can't figure everything out about a person through our first impression of them and how we perceive them right away. But there's interesting studies about why we think the way we do about people. Think about maybe your first friend or two that you met. What drew you to them? Why did you become friends with them? Why did you go up and talk to them? Or why did they come talk to you? Or were you like forced to being put in a group with them and they kind of were similar to you? The book and studies in communication show that we usually become friends or talk to people who we are attracted to in some way. And I want to be careful with that. And that's the way it says it, because a lot of the students and a lot of you guys, when we think about attraction, we think about romance, right? Like, who are we attracted to? Who do we think is good looking? Who are we drawn to? And it's not, when I'm talking about this, it's not quite that. Maybe you're physically attracted to the person, but attraction is not just physical. Attraction could be based on how we perceive their personality to be. It could be they're wearing a shirt of your favorite team. One of my best friends to this day, I remember in college, I was in a sports class for the first time. I didn't know many people. I think I was a sophomore. I went to Monmouth University, and I I didn't know many people because I didn't live on campus. So I was taking a sports journalism class, and I remember seeing a guy in the class who had a Yankee hat and a Dolphins jersey. And those are two of my favorite teams. Don't judge me if you don't like those teams. So I sat next to him because of that reason. I'm like, wow, he likes the same teams as me. Maybe I'm going to get along with this guy. Turns out I talked to him and we're still best friends to this day. He's the godfather of my kids. We're great friends, and we talk to each other because we like the same sports. Maybe you like the same bands. You find something in common with people, and that's kind of how you're drawn to them. So anyway, I was rambling a bit, but I think maybe hopefully you learned a little from that. If you're watching this, I know I know Ruxar is. So good for her that she is. But so this assignment, and I really wanted to make sure I go over this and that everybody understands. If you have questions, you could email me. I'm going to put an announcement reminding everyone that it's due, and I will tell them that let me see if I could find the time. Ruxar, I'm going to ask you to help me out if you're still there and not sleeping yet. And I
Yeah,
don't
now I'm
mind if
here.
you I don't
Um,
mind if you are sleeping because I know I'm boring at times.
yeah,
But
it's not.
can you see what time we're on the video?
Um,
Is it like 27 minutes in
yeah,
maybe? Because we still
it's 27.
Okay, so I'm gonna send an announcement to everybody. I'm gonna make myself a note to do this. Um, that I'm going to say that I explained the IM journal at the 27-minute mark of the video. So that way, if people want to just find that. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you paying attention and being here.
I have a question
Yes, please.
for this IM assignment. We just have to fill in this table, the table format. That's
You're
it.
doing it table format and you're writing an essay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just see here. So if you see the essay should have the following parts.
Oh, yeah.
Participants, without giving their names, describe who the word participants are and why you selected them. Then you
Okay.
do the table, and then you do a little bit of analysis and discussion in an essay. Okay. It doesn't, it's 2 to 4 pages, so it's not crazy. And look, everyone, this says APA format. I don't care what format you use. Just write me an essay. Um, sorry, I'm a little dry. I'm upstairs in my attic and it's hot in here. So what you're doing, and so this is kind of to find out a little bit about yourself and how people perceive you. Okay, so um, so if you scroll down, you're going to see all of these things that describe someone or describe you. Okay. So what you are going to do is you're going to find 3 people, a minimum of 3 people. If you want to add more, you can. I'd like you to pick one person, mix this up. So one person who knows you well, like a family member, a parent, a brother, sister, somebody who knows you well. Somebody who knows you occasionally, like, maybe you're just getting to know them at school, they're a roommate, they don't know you as well as your family, but they know you a little bit. Maybe it's a newer relationship or something like that. I want you to give these to that type of person. And then I want you to give it to somebody who hardly knows you at all, someone you just met, a stranger, um, someone that you see once in a while, a friend of a friend, a classmate, if you want to email a classmate and ask them to switch. Although I think that would be really hard because they got to somewhat have seen you or known you a little bit. So you guys let me know if you have trouble finding people, but do it soon because this is due Sunday. So what you're going to do is to each of those people, you are going to cut these out. So you're going to make 3 copies of this. Okay. And you're going to cut them out into like tabs. And then you're going to ask each person to rate you basically. So what they're going to do is you want them to put whatever they think you best describes you at the top and go down, right? So from the thing that describes you most to the thing that describes you least. And they're going to put it in an order. They're going to rank it. So you're going to kind of see how do they see you, okay? And the idea here, and I think that you're going to see the difference between how you're perceived by someone you love, like someone who really knows you, someone that you kind of know, maybe a friend or something like that, and someone that you just met. And it's going to be really interesting for you all to see the differences there. And then what you're going to do, and you could even do this first, I would do it first before you give it out, rate yourself, right? So like go through this and try to decide like which of these best describes you and which is the least that describes you. Put it in your order. So then here you're going to, when you do the table, your list is going to go here down. So you'll have ones below the screen here. Here, if you could see my arrow, it'll just go down, right? You'll make new columns, it'll go down. So put whatever the top of your list is here. Then put the top of participant one list, top participant two, top participant three, and just write the lists. Okay, just put that down. And then you're going to analyze it. What were you surprised about? You know, did they really know you? Like, if the person you just met is the closest to your list, that's going to be pretty surprising. But tell us that. Tell us, why do you think that happened? Did you learn anything from seeing what the other people thought? You know, and ultimately, I kind of also want you to think about, who are you really in this, right? Like, so are you how you see yourself, or are you how the other people see you? And that's something really interesting to think about, because I think about it myself. Think about, like, okay, am I describing myself? Does it say the most about me for what I think, or does it say the most about me what somebody else thinks? I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there. I'm just, something to think about, and maybe answer that question if you need to. So here it says, and this part's important, this journal is not so much a report or research paper as it is a personal inventory, analysis, and reaction paper. So use first person. So what I'm most interested in are your thoughts, right? So analyze it. Why do you think they chose this? What was the most surprising to you? What did you agree with the most? So talk about it in that way, you know? So I think you guys will be okay doing this. I've given it in classes before, and students seem to like it. They get a lot out of it. I know you probably might not want to do it because it's work, but it shouldn't be too hard.
It's
Um,
kind of fun and interesting at the same time.
it is, Roxar, it is. I get good feedback from the students, especially after they do it. I think it comes out a lot different than they expect sometimes. So
Yeah.
it's interesting for them to learn, and they're like, my mom put I'm attractive last, and it's like, what, she doesn't think I'm good? Like, it's just like fun. Some of it's fun and funny, and how do you put it? And I remember, because my class, I think it was a couple years ago, when one of the first times I did this, I told my class that I'm gonna do this myself and rate myself, and then ask my wife to do it and compare the two. And my wife's were really different than mine. I was very surprised at that. So and then I'm like, and then she explained it. And sometimes, and you might want to include this in your essay. Sometimes and it kind of goes into how we put meaning to words, right? So for example, I am lonely. Okay, let's take that for example. So when I did this with my wife, I am lonely was like the bottom of my list, because I talk to everybody, I have a family, I don't feel like I'm lonely. And it was like, it wasn't at the top of my wife for me, but it was like in the middle. And I'm like, why would you think I'm lonely? I have friends, I have family. And my wife's like, well, some nights I go to bed early and you're downstairs by yourself watching TV. And I'm like, all right, that makes sense. We thought of lonely as kind of two different things. And that could happen. And then that's what you could write about. And then, and so, like, I'm emotional. I don't know. It's like, emotional could be seen as different ways. So I think you'll like it. And I hope you like it. So I think, Ruxar, did I explain that well? Do you
Yeah.
understand it? Okay.
Yeah, I understand. I think
Okay, great. And I'll say, for anybody else who is watching, to just read this. If you have questions, you can send me an email. I'll be around this weekend, so I'll be able to respond to any emails that you all send me. But I'm going to send an announcement right after this, saying that this video is up, and make sure you start working on this if you haven't yet, and that I describe it at 27 minutes of the video. Okay, so that's really the assignment. I'm going to go back here to modules and just make sure I go through everything else. Your readings and smart book, this really is the readings here. So when you go to each unit, just go, so your readings are here, and then your smart book is below. So the smart book for all of you is It's essentially your book. It's just online and it has questions within it that you get points for. So basically, you're getting points for the class just for your reading and answering the questions. Okay. So it's a bit of work, but if you do it, you really get a lot of points. So it's more of just like participation and making sure you do what you got to do. All right. So unit one, which is what's due Sunday, just going through again, making sure everybody did everything. Make sure again, the introduction's not graded. It's just for me to read a little bit about you and your classmates to get to know you a little bit. The graded one, I saw a lot of people did a lot of great answers on that. That was about advantages of studying communication. Why are we doing it? Why is communication important maybe to your career? And make sure on that you're responding to classmates, okay, on different days. So don't try to log in maybe 2 days separately and respond, or 3 days separately and respond. Don't just log in for an hour and respond to everyone. I want you kind of to be, like I said, break these things up. The IM essay is what I just showed you. So once you do all that, and then, like I said, this smart book is where you just answered the questions. This is what we had some issues on with it not giving some people the points. So just make sure, again, when these grades pop up for unit one, if you see a 0 by smart book assignments and you did it, just email me and I will totally fix it. I'm really not being strict about it because there was a problem and you guys are still learning this. So, and also remember that unit one, the due dates, while it's due Sunday, we expanded that a bit. Let me just try to go back to the course due dates and tell you when, like, the drop dead deadline for unit one stuff is. Um, let's see here, summer one. I wish this would just go down to it, but it's not seeming to want to do that. I have to actually, oh, no, I lost it. Sorry for the delay while I do this. I wish they just had one for summer in its own space. Okay, so you actually have until June 2nd to do, well, they're saying 40% penalty on unit one assignments. Um, I'm trying to think of what I'm going to allow you to do because I want to be a bit flexible. Let's say for the discussions, the discussions and the connect work, the smart book, make sure you have that done by the end of the day on the 29th. Okay, make sure those are done. I will give you until the 2nd to do the essay, the IM essay, because it might take you a little bit of time. But remember, you're also going to be working on all unit 2 stuff. So if you can get it done now and just be done unit 1, I'd suggest to do it. But look, I know for that assignment, you got to find people to rank them and stuff like that. So I'll give you some more time on that. Just make sure the drop dead deadline, and that's what I'm going to put. I'll also put that in my announcement. Possible, but at the very latest, turn it in by June 2nd. But remember that your unit 2 work is going to be due on the 4th. So if you're going to push back that essay from unit 1, you're going to have like almost double the work. So I'll leave it up to you guys. These online classes is a lot about like time management and things like that. But I am going to extend that for you just to make sure that everyone does well and gets it done. Um, so so then for unit 2, which is coming up, and we'll start that on Monday. Um, let's see here. I'm gonna go back to modules. So unit 2, you have basically the same. You have 3 chapters to read and do the smart book for. You have a discussion question, okay, that you'll answer and respond. And then you have an assignment, and the assignment's going to start is going to ask you to start thinking about your speeches for the class. Now, this is one thing I definitely wanted to talk about, and that's very important. This is a public speaking class, and you're taking it online. Is it a little bit odd? Yeah, but it's been done. I've been teaching online public speaking classes for a long time. People can do them same as they can in class. But it does take some effort and some things on your end. So what you're going to do when you have a speech and you have at least two, you have two individual speeches, and then we're slated to do a group project of some sort. And right now I'm holding off on that. That would be the last unit. I kind of want to see how we're doing, and I kind of want to decide what we'll do as that group assignment. So don't worry about that yet. But I want you to start thinking about your two individual speeches. Okay. So for your speeches, you have to get an audience. Okay. So that means you have to collect people you know. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be classmates, and you're going to do your recordings on Zoom or on Studio, which I haven't figured out yet. This is just part of Canvas, and I think you could just do it here and record. It'll probably be in the, let me see. Oh, okay. So you just press record, and I think it'll record you, and then you could just submit it pretty easily. So you could do that, or you could go to Zoom and record a Zoom and then submit it for the assignment. But you can't just do like I'm doing. I only have one person in my audience today. You have to have people in your audience on the video, because public speaking is in front of people. Okay. So ask classmates. I mean, you could even, if you want to send me an email, I can email the class and say, hey, Ruxar needs a audience. She was thinking of maybe this day and time. Can anyone sit in on hers? And then you'll have an audience too. So maybe if you guys want me to, I could set a time and date for the class for you guys to meet and just be in each other's
Can we add
audience.
our family members as audience?
Sure, absolutely. So, Ruxar, if you want to do it in person, you could just use your phone and have somebody record with your phone. So they could just show me the audience first and pan the audience with your phone, and then put the phone on you while you're speaking. So you could absolutely do that and then just upload the file.
Okay. Okay.
But,
That's
or if you'd rather be on the computer and have your family join on Zoom because they're not, maybe you live on campus and they don't or something, that's fine too. So it can be done that's a very good question. It can be done in person for you guys, and you could record with your phone or tablet or computer. Just make sure you show me the audience at the beginning and that I can see you when you're delivering your speech. Or you could do it online, remote like this, and just have people in your audience. I'm sure people will have questions. Some people have trouble finding an audience. Email me, and depending on each situation, we could get that figured out. Okay. So that's something everybody needs to think about, because that's really a major thing in the class, is that you're going to be able to get that audience to be part of your speeches. Okay. So unit 2 is just asking you to start thinking about your audience. So you don't need it just yet. So this, if you go to unit 2 here, I think unit 2 is open for you guys. I think all of them are open. So here it's just kind of like, it just says, they ask you to put your name of the speakers that are going to be in your audience. Okay. So we do this just so everybody can plan ahead and get their audience for it. Look, if you do on here, you list people in the audience and one or two can't make it and they're subbed out by somebody else, that's totally fine with me. I just want to see you do this ahead of time to figure out who might be in your audience. And as long as I see people in your audience, I'm not going to match it up to this and say, oh, it said that John Smith is going to be in the audience, and I don't see John Smith. No, I don't care about that. I care that you're just trying to plan and figure out who's going to be in your audience. And look, I also don't care about the signature on this, everyone. And hopefully you guys are watching this so you know. But if you just like Ruxar, if you just put your family members' names that are going to be there and put their relationship, you don't have to have them sign this. It's not that big of a deal to me. But just put their names of people who you think are going to join. So this is actually probably a pretty quick assignment in unit 2 for you
and it
guys.
says they have to be 18 years old.
I'd like them to be, how old are your family members, Ruxar?
Yeah, they're like 17, 15.
That's
And my
fine. That's fine. As if they're middle school, high school, where they're going to be able to understand what you're doing, that's
Mhm.
okay. I'd say anybody maybe like 11 or 12 and older is okay with
And how
me.
many people it should be in the video?
Um, me see. I'm gonna say like 5.
Okay.
I think it might say 7, but I'm fine with 5. If you
Okay.
could have 5 people, that'll be fine. And again, that's fine if they're anyone 12, anyone really 12 or older. I'm thinking 12, 11. My son's 11, so that's why I'm judging it based on that. He's in 5th grade, and I feel like he can understand the topic. Now, if you're talking about like a topic like guns or something like that, which I would try to avoid anyway, I'd be
Yeah.
careful with the ages. But if you're talking about something that they'll understand, then as long as they're in school and can understand it, I'm fine. I don't want an audience like somebody teaches preschool and they're giving like an informative speech to 8 5-year-olds. That won't work. That's why I think they put age 18 on there. But look, it could be any like school age, middle school age, 4th 5th grade is fine. That they're gonna like understand what you're talking about. So that's good with that. Okay. So I think I covered most things I wanted to get to today. I know it's a lot of just um, formatting stuff and assignments and that kind of thing, but that's really what I wanted to accomplish week 1. Next week's lecture, I'll get more into some of the material in the book. I'd like to talk about the IMs and how they came out next week. So maybe I'll try to ask people to attend to if they could talk about their IMs. That'd be cool. That'll help us have a more interesting lecture and discussion. So I said June 2nd was the last day. Sorry, I'm just looking at my calendar here to try to figure out when I'm going to do the lecture for next week. So June 2nd is next Friday. Um, I'm going to schedule it for next Friday again, June 2nd at noon. And that way, most people will probably be done their IM journals by then. I feel like Friday is good too because it's the unit's almost ending, but we still have time to explain it to you guys if you need it. But if a day works better, I don't know. Rockstar, I'm going to ask you. I know I'm giving you a lot of extra credit because I'm asking you a lot of questions. Do you
Thank
feel
you.
like do you feel like Friday is a good day, like in terms
Yeah.
of, or do you feel like it should be earlier? I think it's good because it gives you time to get some stuff done and see what questions
Yeah,
you have.
because it's the first assignment, so I feel like it's good to be due on Friday, next Friday.
Okay, perfect. So I'll do that, and I'll do the lecture on Friday again next week, and maybe if we have more people or people email me, we could switch that up if we need to. But
And
I'll,
and
I'll
we have this class on every Friday at noon.
yes, but Roxa, you don't have to attend. It's voluntary to attend. I mean,
I
it was
always have a lot of questions, so I always attend the classes in case.
that's great. That's what I was gonna say. It's really good if you have classes. I think attending it is good because I talk about little stuff that maybe people won't pick up with reading everything. So I'm happy to have you. And yeah, so right now it'll be Friday. I'm probably gonna go week to week, Rockstar, with what day I'm gonna do them. Because it just might depend on, so like a speech week, I might do it earlier because we have more to work on and explain. So I might make it a Wednesday. So it might change a bit, but right now I'm gonna stick with Fridays at noon.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Thank
great.
you.
And do you have any more questions or anything
No.
that I
No,
could
thank
clear
you
up
so
for you?
much.
Okay, yeah, no problem. All right. So everybody who is maybe watching the video, thank you for watching. I hope I cleared everything up. If I didn't, I'm an email away. Feel free to email me. And welcome to the class. I hope you guys learn a lot and have some fun along the way. All right. Rockstar, have an excellent weekend.
You
Anybody who's
too.
watching, have an excellent weekend. Maybe you're going to some barbecues or something. I'm gonna grill. I'm gonna grill tomorrow, I think. So I love grilling.
All right. Have a good day.
All right, take care. Thank you, everybody.